We're back, baby.
Yeah. Okay.
For a third
For the
time.
third time, 3 weeks in a row. Look at that consistency.
Commitment. Even a girl can enjoy.
What? What? What?
You know what I
What's...
mean.
No, I don't. Elaborate.
So they're like, oh, I can't get, let's say, what's a typical, like, popish white boy's name?
Chad.
Adrian. Chad. I
Chad.
can't get Chad to commit. He keeps going out with Stephanie instead of me. I'm his side piece. His green beans. His macaroni.
God.
His corn on the cob.
Stop.
And tomatoes.
Nick. Please. God damn it.
And then she'd be thumb thugging on Twitter.
Thumb thugging?
Yeah, that's when you go tack 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 with your thumbs on your keyboard. Thumb
I don't
thugging.
think that's called thumb thugging.
Yeah, that's where you go.
What? No, stop doing that. Stop molesting the mic I just bought. Nick, this is not ASMR. You...
So, this is the
Nick, please stop.
I got my own mic now, guys, so you can probably hear me.
Better. Anyway, today's topic is, since we can't say the name because of fear of retaliation, we will say it's called Brodomone.
Brodomone.
No, that's gay.
That's
really
gay.
gay.
Zato own.
Zata own.
Zato own.
Zata. These are Zato owned stories from a place we previously worked.
Previous.
Yeah. Well, did you work there today?
No, I didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you didn't work today. You worked there previously.
That's right. I went to karate in class today.
You went to karate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mom take you in your minivan and.
How did you know? You stalking me? He
No.
stalks me, folks.
No.
He like pops out of the bushes like, oh, there's Nick. Let's see what he's gonna do today.
No. See, I've got too many other people to stalk besides you, Nick.
Oh, they're all just me in
They're all
disguise.
just you in disguises. Nick, I've been bamboozled. You bamboozled me.
Like one of my disguises is Adam Johnson.
Adam Johnson. Yes.
He's a real homeboy. You should talk to him in the comments.
Yeah, I fucking hate you. I hate you. I've been over this, but you already broke my tiny little heart. My tiny man heart.
That's okay. Phil Swift can fix it with some flex tape.
Fuck you. You know what? Get out of here.
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about some stories that we have experienced or heard or stuff just pertaining to, what do we call it again?
Botto loan.
We're just going to set... I can't even abbreviate it because that gives it away too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already giving it away. You know what? Napa.
Napa, but red.
Napa, but better. No, I can't say that either.
No, we can't say that. Napa, but the color palette is swapped, and it's spelled with an A instead of an N.
And then there's also a Z in there, and then like there's it's not red, it's orange.
I'm colorblind.
Well, I wish I was regular blind when I look into your eyes, Nick.
Well, I mean, my eyes are black, or near black, so...
Yeah, like I said, I wish I was regular blind. Anyway. So you want to tell a story first, or you want me to tell a story? Point is, it is an automotive a component store.
It is a building and place that you can go for your mechanical needs of automotive services.
Which can range anywhere from a boat to maybe a plane.
Or a power steering pump. Or a, whereas our buddies down south of the Rio Grande call it, de pumpa de agua. That's Spanish for water pump.
I think they can tell. I think, Nick.
De pumpa.
De pumpa de agua.
Yeah, de pumpa de agua.
I think if our neighbors to the south heard you say that, you would be used as a piñata.
No. They'd be like, oh, he knows our
He
language.
knows our language.
No.
Let him mate with our women. No, that's French.
That's
That's
French.
French. I like the French. They're fun to make fun of.
Baguettes.
Pussies.
Are they going to beat you with a baguette?
You're a maggot.
That's right. I've been kneaded and thrown into an oven.
Anyway,
But
you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I don't know. It's up to you.
You can go first, Nick.
All
They
right.
like hearing your tomfoolery, your tomfuckery.
That's right. They like to listen to my sultry voice.
Nick, stop it, please.
That's right. That's where everybody's cut out of the podcast, except for our diehard listeners.
Which is you and me, and more so you than anyone else.
That's right. I gotta put in at least 20 views.
20 of our 33.
Exactly. But let's see. We'll start off with should we go balls to the walls, or what type of story should we
I think we should build up. Let's
build up? Okay, we'll build up.
Because you don't want to start off too strong, because then there's nowhere to go.
That's right. That's right. You don't want to be just a one-punch man. You want to be like a 35-punch man.
Well, I mean, what if you were Saitama from One Punch Man?
Then you just use your finger, and you'd be a serious finger.
Serious finger. It's just a serious finger. That's what he should call. That's what he should call his sidekick. I am One Punch Man, and I am five jab finger.
5 jab fingers. He has to put 5 of his fingers for his power to work.
Yeah. Well, to work at like full capacity. He has a fifth of. Actually, no, he has a tenth of One Punch Man's power. And the more fingers he puts into his jabs, the stronger it is.
Oh yeah,
So if he goes for a double jab,
it's double the power.
he just looks like he's hailing Hydra.
Hail Hydra. Let's see. We could start off with let's see. I'm trying to think of like a nice simple one, but most of the stuff's pretty wild. Like the stories that are memorable are pretty wild.
Well, otherwise they wouldn't be stories. They'd just be
Like-
memories we forgot.
Like the girl that walked into the store. Okay, so at the particular establishment that I work upon, we have another establishment a little ways down, not the Napo, but the
Napple.
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 It's
like a shitty Pokemon.
it's a grass type, so it's weak too.
I thought it would be a dragon type, because why the fuck not?
It's a grass
'Cause
dragon.
no, like in the new generation, there is legitimately a Pokemon that is legit an apple. And
What happens if you eat
and
it?
it's a dragon type.
What would happen if you eat that
I have
Pokemon?
no
what
fucking
would it taste like? Would it taste like an apple?
I think it's actually called a pool.
A pool?
Like a pool.
A pool?
That's so stupid. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm too lazy to goddamn look it up.
But yeah,
I should probably cut back
this
on
lady-
these, but I don't care.
getting back to the story, this lady, she comes from the Goodwill, right? Anyway, she comes in, she's like looking like the Pillsbury Doughman with all these clothes that she done took from.
Pillsbury Doughs, man. You mean the Pillsbury Doughboy?
Yeah, the Pillsbury Doughman.
When did he go through puberty?
When he became a man.
When he became a man. At his bar mitzvah.
That's
Many
right.
people don't know he's Jewish.
His bar mitzvah. First quinceanera.
He's twin senora. You botched up that so bad. Quinceanera.
But quinceanera. Quinceanera or whatever.
Quinceanera.
Quinceanera.
Yeah, stop sounding white when you say it, Nick. I get you couldn't get any whiter unless you were a ginger, but just stop being so white.
Hey, you say that, but my uncle was actually redhead.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I'm just imagining you with red hair, and it terrifies me to my core.
You could probably look him up. He was in a blues band. His
In a blues band? Okay.
his stage name was Little Boy Blue or Big Boy Blue,
Big boy.
and his band was the Long Ride Home. They were an all white blues band from Mississippi. He has a marker on the Blues Trail. That's a movie. That ain't.
Yeah, that is a movie.
Type in blues band after it.
Blues band.
I just pulled up random blues bands.
I'm right home, but that does not look like any of those.
No, I don't see him in there. Anyway, his name's Martin Grant.
Martin Grant.
And of course,
Is he dead?
yes, he's dead.
Obituary. Martin B. Grant, 43, died March 6, 2015.
Yep, that's him. And they don't have a picture.
They
Wow.
don't have a picture.
Wow. So you don't
Let's
get
look
to
at the
see.
full obituary. Boom. Thank you for your interest.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I just looked.
You're interested. That's all it says for my poor uncle.
Yeah, your uncle, who was in a blues band called Big Boy, and his station was Big Boy Blue. The only thing on his obituary side is thank you for your interest.
His songs and stuff's on YouTube though. You can look it up.
Oh my god.
That's kind of funny.
That's really funny. Blues Hall of Fame. He's not in the Blues Hall of Fame, is he?
I don't think
Big
so.
Boy Martin Grant remembered. Hold on.
He is.
There's no way he's in the Blues Hall of Fame. Let me see here. Hold on.
Search his name, see what's in there.
Oh
my God. Super surprised and stoked. I know they got a blues marker by his grave.
Blues Hall of Fame. That blues artist. Let's see. Terry Big T. Williams.
There
Martin
he is.
Grant, aka Big.
That-
Martin Grant, aka Big Boy, great blues artist from Mississippi in the Blues Hall of Fame.
Yep, that's my uncle.
Oh my gosh. I found him. And then under him is Stephen King.
Wow.
Your father, your uncle among the greats with Stephen King in the blues. Oh my gosh.
Yep, that's him.
Oh wow.
That's amazing.
See here.
There he is. There he is. He was phenomenal with the harmonica.
Oh my god, he does have red hair.
I told you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm stumped. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Oh, we were talking about the crackhead that came into the zone. Anyway, she comes in. The little sensor alarm, you know, like the little radioactive thing that crackles at night. It didn't go off when she came in. She goes in, she just wanders around the store, looking all dazed and confused, and then she goes into our bathroom, and she's in there for like 30 minutes. She's in there for like 30 minutes, and this cop comes around our docking bay and comes through our docking gates. And then he asks, he's like, did a lady that fit the description that I just said, that had like all the clothes on and everything, you're like, did a lady like that just come in? And we're like, yes, sir, she did. She's currently in the restroom. He's like, okay. And so he goes and he hides around into aisles. And then she comes out. She looks even more like stoned or whatever. But she's taken off a bunch of stuff and thrown it into the garbage can. There's a bunch of like blood in the garbage can and some like tissue papers and everything. She walks around the stores again, but then she goes to leave. As she leaves, the little alarm goes off, the little sensor bar goes off, and goes boop, 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 boop. And then she stops and she's like, oh, that's just my baby. I'm pregnant. Sometimes my baby causes the thing to go off. Like the baby's like a radioactive alien with the sensor bar in her.
What?
Yep.
So So it's not it's not radiation that does that. It is what it is it's like a barcode kind of a thing that it can sense those two metal strips.
I know. I'm being funny.
Yeah, I know, but people aren't as knowledgeable as you and me, Nick.
I used to tell some of my coworkers when they would like crack a line, oh, that's just the ionization at night causing the thing to go off.
They were like, "What? Am I gonna get cancer?" And then the answer is usually probably. But
From
not
the-
because of that.
No,
Not just
because
because
of
of
all the-
literally everything else.
Yeah, all the chemicals in the store.
No, I'm just talking about like even air will give you cancer nowadays.
That's true.
Yesterday, walking down the street, got cancer. The day after that, breathed air, cancer.
Hang out with a girl named Harley. She shoots a ray gun at you. She gave me cancer.
Good cancer.
You gave me cancer, Harley?
Oh man.
But yeah, she goes
Well, I
out.
walked through a sewer once. Guess what I got?
Gators?
No, AIDS. But yeah, close enough.
Close enough. Gatorades.
Gatorades. Would you get AIDS from alligators?
Gatorades.
Just so stupid. Oh god.
But yeah, the cop hauled it into high gear. He like took her outside, stopped her in the middle of our like steps or whatever up to the upper parking lot, and yeah, that was interesting. She just came in. That wasn't the first time she came in too. She came in other times. A different cop came in the second time that she came, and he caught her right at the steps, right as she was about to shoot up some icky juice in a needle, you know.
So, my story is not as crazy as that. Mine's more mundane.
Really?
And this is just my starting off story. This happened at Christmas. I had to work Christmas Eve.
I remember doing a Christmas Eve once.
Yeah, it was not pleasant. Guy calls in, seeing if we have any 3/8 hose. We did. It was like $5.99 a foot.
Oh, that's because it's the fuel emissions hose or whatever.
Well, yeah. So I say it's $5.99 a foot. He's like, okay, I'm gonna come in there, and I'm like, and get 18 feet of it.
Ooh,
And I'm
man.
like, okay, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
I go over to him.
You sure he didn't mean 18 inches?
No, he said 18 feet because he comes in because I'm not about to cut that much with him not being there.
Exactly.
I get him the 3/8 hose. He says, okay, I need 18 feet of it. I pull out 18 feet and I cut it. I go over to the register and say, well, it's going to be like almost $100.
Goodness.
And it's like more than 100 after. He's like, what do you mean? I can get it for 99 cents at Walmart. And I'm like, well, sir, you called and I told you over the phone that it's $5.99 a foot. And he goes, man, fuck you. Oh, and then he goes, you got any other hose? And I was like,
No.
what? I wanted to say straight up no, but when it comes to some people, I'm just a pushover, and I didn't want to escalate things any further. So, like, we don't have any other 3/8, but if you wanted 5/16, we could try to do that. And he's like, yeah, let's do 5/16. Better not be goddamn $5.99 a foot. And so it's like $1.99. He's like, that's better. And then he straight up leaves. This guy was an asshole who called, got the price, came anyway, decided to complain, hoping to get a better price on the hose. And I would not lower the price because I'm not about to go through that.
No.
I didn't even have the authority to do that at the time.
He would have flagged you too.
Yeah. That.
LP would come in with their like black suits and their glasses and be like, where's the money, Lebowski? Where's the money?
Let me, I think it's back in the bucket. Let me get. Anyway, that is my mundane story of working at this automotive
Joint.
Yes. What is your other story?
So, story like that, but more mundane. So, I was helping this elderly man, right? He comes up, he's like, I need some ATV fluid, ATV oil. And I was like, yes, sir, I can take you right back to where our selection of the ATV oil is. So we take him back there. And then he's like, I'm going to look it up on my phone and see what type of oil I need. So he pulls out his phone. He's like doing whatever it is on Google, right? I take him to a fluid, and then he's like, yeah, I need the 15W40 or whatever it is. I think it's 15W40. Anyways, whatever the ATV fluid is. And I grab it for him, exactly what he says. I hand it to him. And I'm like, all right, so this is what you said that you needed. He's like, how you know that's what I needed? I was like, sir, you just told me that's what you needed. I didn't say nothing. How do you know this is what I need in my ATV? I'm like, you said you were going to look it up on your phone, sir, and you did. And he's like, I didn't know such thing. What do you mean I'm looking at my phone? He started literally doing that, like just going, like a lawnmower not cranking.
And just imagine, right, like a snooty Englishman back when we think they were the most snooty.
Exactly. Like this dude, I don't know if like he had dementia or what, but he was a little elderly old man or whatever, and he's like, "Was that synthetic?" And I look, and it doesn't say the word synthetic on it at all. And I was like, "No, sir, I don't believe it's synthetic." What do you mean you don't believe? Because it doesn't say synthetic, but I don't really think it's synthetic. I think it's conventional because it doesn't say anything. He's like, well, it don't say conventional in there. I was like, well, it doesn't say synthetic either. It just tells us its weight and capacity, and that's all. And this is what you said you needed for your ATV. And he's like, fuck this store. I don't ever try to help me after I'd took my time to take him back there. Sit and listen to his like stuttering and gruntal, whatever it was, his weird
and his guttural growls.
Yeah.
His harumphs.
And then he's like, I'm never coming back. Catch this. 2 weeks later, he comes back. They always come back. But it's funny because like I took the time out of my day because we were stocking. It was truck day, no less.
So for those of you who don't know, truck day is when the store is out of stock of its items. So a truck comes by and drops off a ton of items, whether or not we need it.
Whether or not we need it.
And then we have to fill it. And at one point it was just, it takes like what, 6 hours to clear the truck.
Typically.
And it usually takes like everybody on hand.
All hands on deck, as they call it.
But it's like a good way to get to know the store, but at the same time, the worst thing in the world.
And for some reason, everybody and their monkeys, cousins, uncles decide to come on truck day. We tell them to come the day after truck, because then we have everything put up. If you come the day of truck, it's not been put on the shelf yet, so we don't know if we have it or not. Because it's not been scanned in.
But when it comes to stories about people being petty like that one, I remember one day our coworker, Mr. Muscles himself.
Oh, Captain Muscles?
Captain Muscles.
Captain Muscles.
Captain Muscles is a friend of ours and former coworker of ours. Super buff. He goes into like strongman competitions and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, he goes to show off his muscles and flex. He's like the Mr. Universe type competitions.
Yeah. So he was working that day, and he was talking to this guy. And this guy didn't like what he had to say. So the guy says, you know what, forget about it. I'm just going to go look around. So he grabs a basket. And he goes around on all the little carousels that hold fuses and stuff like that, and he starts picking everything up, slowly filling up this entire basket. Getting bulbs, fuses, literally every small thing that's meticulous and difficult to put away. And he fills up an entire basket full of this stuff. And he comes to the front, he sets it on the counter, and then he leaves. He straight up leaves! And I was like, man, that sucks, but that was such a power move.
It was a power move, but if we were in older times, I would have whooped his fucking ass.
I can feel that. Same coworker, a different time. They have there's these kids come in very rude, doing like a refund and return. Well, he's not
You talking about Squid Boy?
Who?
Squid Boy. His last name is the name of a squid.
Oh no, it wasn't him.
It wasn't him?
It wasn't him who did the thing I'm talking about.
Okay, because he did something similar.
He did something similar, but he did that with the boss man.
And then he tried to call his mammy.
No, that was the people I'm talking about. This guy didn't do that.
Oh, Squid Boy didn't try and call
No.
his mommy?
So what happened was these three guys, they come in messing with Captain Muscles. We're just gonna call him Captain Muscles.
Captain Muscles.
We'll keep his actual name our little secret.
For now, anyway.
For now, anyway.
Until we have him guest show.
Or we get his permission to say his name. They go outside. They go back outside after he denied them because they were being very rude. They straight up went up to him and said, "Give me my return." And these were like kids, like 16, 17. So he straight up says no because one, they didn't have the receipt. Two, they were being overtly rude. Three, they didn't even have the part in the store.
What were we supposed to return?
I have no idea. Well, they go outside in their car. They're looking around in their car. Then I just see this one kid come back with his phone in his hand. He walks up to Captain Muscles and he says, "My mom wants to speak with you." Captain Muscles looks at this guy and says, "I don't want to speak to your mom. Get out."
Maybe the mother was looking for a new daddy.
I have no idea. No.
Maybe they wanted Captain Muscles to be his boy's stepdad.
That was like the dumbest. I don't know what in his right mind he thought he was doing.
I don't know. It's
like that's like just imagine an adult coming up to you, and this kid was like 16, 17, so he definitely knew better. Like we have I've had people come in, like some people will come in because we do read codes on vehicles
occasionally. During the pandemic, we
couldn't go out into the vehicle. So we would hand them the code tester and we would tell them step by step how to use it.
Oh, you're talking about the girls that call their daddies or whatever?
So yeah. So one day, this girl comes in here and she says, "I would like to see your code reader." And I was like, "Sure, but due to the pandemic, we can't go to your vehicle. So I'm going to hand this to you. I'm going to take you by step how to do this. We even have a tag on here to tell you what you have to do." And I take her through step by step. She goes out to her car with the code reader.
Doesn't even try to follow steps.
2 minutes later, it's not even like a significant amount of time where she said, "You know what, I'm going to try it." No, she immediately called her father. Her father comes. I hear her father over the phone because he calls and he says, "Why the hell are you leaving my daughter out there? Trying to figure out myself?" Well, I say, "Sir, due to the pandemic, we can't go out into people's vehicles." He said, "You used to." And at that moment, I wanted to say, "Well, there didn't used to be a pandemic." And it's store policy rather than, because I don't mind going into that vehicle to do it, but it's a store policy at that point.
Yeah, we get in trouble.
And I have to follow store policy.
Also, if you make one exception, you got to make the exception for everybody.
Yeah, and it becomes a huge, big thing that I don't want to deal with. Yeah, you don't want to deal with that shit.
Exactly.
So,
one bad apple ruins the bushel.
Apples don't grow in bushels. They grow on trees.
Bushels is like the term for the basket that you put the apples in.
No. It's bushes. It's bushes, Nick.
No, it's bushel.
You're a bushel.
You're right, I am a bushel.
You're a bushel of Jew.
I'm the bushel.
I'm the bushel of Jew. That's like a Dark Souls name. Nicholas, the bushel of Jew.
Like one of those like intimidating bosses. It's like just like a humanoid in this large arena.
Just like the big bosses is fine, but the small ones you're like, oh fuck.
Because they're natural testament of skill.
Yeah.
Big ones you just run and poke them in the butt.
Like, I was surprised I beat the final boss my first go.
Yes, President.
Yeah, because like we had trouble with the two princes because we sat here for like 3 hours.
Hey, I don't know. I was like an Ultra Instinct, man. I was dodging without rolling, man. And it's like I was a pixel away from getting hit every single time.
Every time.
It was like,
and it was insane because you're like, okay, the next time we're going through, we know what we have to do. We've figured out the pattern. We've solved the Da Vinci Code. We've got this. And then you up and do it. And I'm like, what? And then
it was way too often I almost got hit. Like this sword would like clamp right in front of my character, like a pixel, and I would have been obliterated. Especially when I had only 1 HP.
yeah, you had 1 health. You had like half of a pixel on the screen of health left, and we're like, oh god, and you had just run out of elixir.
I did.
Anyway, now going on to more intense stories.
Oh,
We've told the mundane, and now we must go further beyond.
all right. So you wanna we want what do we want to do? We want to talk about no. We'll save the story about me saving a guy for later.
And then we'll save that story because I was there for that. And then the story of our commercial customer getting in trouble with the police.
Oh yeah,
This is from the store I'm at now.
I heard about that, but I don't know the actual story.
So I'm not going to say any names compared to it. It's completely just what I saw. So no names will be given. Like we're not going to use any names or try to avoid using any names of actual people.
That's the reason why we gave them nicknames like Captain Muscles, Squid Boy, for instance.
Squid Boy, yeah. Took me a sec, and we're kind of having to like sign out who these people are to each other because we're just giving them nicknames on the spot. Anyway.
Oh, back again to Crack Girl.
Crack Girl. This is like the worst Justice League team ever. Captain Muscles, Crack Girl, Squid Boy.
Crack.
Crack Girl used heroin.
Wasn't very effective.
Captain Muscles used flex.
But let's see.
Squid Boy used.
So the rower. I was closing that night with we will call him the rower. You know the rower?
The rower. Oh, okay. Okay, now I get it. Yeah, I know the rower.
Yeah, the rower. So, me and Rower, we were getting the store ready for the visit because the big boss, for those who don't understand, is like the DM, which is the district manager. He was coming in to walk and do an inspection on the store. So, we're getting everything all fixed up. So, we stayed overnight, and it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. We didn't leave until like 5 a.m. But 3 a.m. is when we decided to take our quote-unquote lunch, because whenever you work a more than a 6-hour period, on that 7 hour, you're supposed to take a lunch. So anyway, we were going to head out, and literally this, I think it's the same girl, Crack Girl. She comes out of these bushes, like behind our store. She comes out of these bushes out of nowhere, and she's like, "Y'all know what time it is?" And she's like stumbling. And me and Rower, we look at each other, and I'm looking at Rower, I'm like, is this lady gonna like jump us? What's going on? Like she's wearing like this like skimpy like dress too, kind of like a crack whore. But
Oh my god.
but we look, and then I look at Rower, and then we look at our phone, and we're like, it's 3:45 a.m., ma'am. And she's like, oh, okay, time to put on coffee. And she just starts heading off toward the subdivision. I'm like. I look at Rower, and I'm like, anyway, let's go to Waffle House. We went to the Waffle House.
Oh my gosh. I've got another mundane story, actually. This has to do with, our boss. Not the big boss.
Not Big Boss?
Not Big Boss, but,
Papa Boss.
Papa Boss, yeah.
Yeah, Papa Boss.
It was me and Coach.
Oh, the coach?
Yeah, we're gonna call him Coach.
Coach always leaves like his shirt untucked or whatever.
I have someone who always does the same thing at the store I'm at now, but I've even told him to tuck it in a few times, and he just straight up ignores me. But that's besides the point. And for those of you who don't know, we're both managers, so we actually have some sort of say of what happens.
Authority.
Respect my authority.
That's right.
Anyway, even though it's not much compared to everyone else's authority.
It's more like your authority comes from respect and gratitude.
Yeah, but anyway, so Papa Boss is in the back of the store. This guy comes in with this really nice car, and these old headlights, and it's not like a bulb you can take out and replace.
Oh, it's the
You have
big
to take
bulbs. It's
Yeah,
like the
you have to
block
take off these
lights.
big bulbs. And he comes up to me and he finds the bulbs he needs. He's like, "Can you put them on?" So I'm thinking, I look at him, I look at his car, and I was like, I'm gonna have to make sure with Papa Boss here
That you can do
that
it.
I can do it. And I call it Papa Boss, and he goes, maybe Coach can do it.
Oh no.
And Coach turns his head back and forth because obviously what Papa Boss was trying to do was tell. Because I was like, I'm going to pawn this on someone else because I don't want to do this.
Delegation
Papa
of duty.
Boss goes, maybe Coach is smart enough to say no. And then Coach looks at him. He says, I can try.
Yeah, I
And
can do
then
it.
he goes out there, and then I remember he told us while he was out there, he's like, I'm sitting on the ground, and I'm thinking, man,
I should have said no.
that should have said yeah. Oh,
For
man.
those who don't know, we got a code called Gotcha. Don't let Gotcha get you. We're not really supposed to be out there longer than 15 minutes.
So, like, if we say we can help you with something, we gotta. Now, however, if we say we would have to see first, we would have to check, then that gives us more leeway.
Yep.
However, a lot of people say yes without looking at the problem. So we've had people who change batteries who go, "Oh, yes, I can change this," and then go out there and see
And then
there's like,
find out that it's in the firewall underneath the computer, and you have to take out the airbox.
and then you're like, "Oh, no, I can't." And then customers are like, "But you
but you
said
just
you
said
could."
so.
And I was like, "Yeah, well, I've also said when pigs fly, but they don't fly, now do they?"
I don't know. You can put them on an airplane now.
Shut up! Shut up! That was the dumbest joke you've made. Period. Like, it wasn't even ironically funny. Now I'm mad. Anyway,
Oh, don't be mad, be glad.
I could never be glad when that joke that sad is that bad.
Well, okay, it's just a little tad underwhelming.
You completely threw off the rhythm, Nick.
But did I? With the rhythm?
Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. You're looking for forgiveness. You're looking for slyness and forgiveness in that slyness, and you will not receive it from me.
I've learned that look from cats. They knock tables on, and they knock glasses on the table, and then they look at you. Like, oh, did I do that?
Anyway,
I can train cats.
no, you can't. But that's besides the
What are you
point.
talking about? I've trained my cat to come to me when I say, Kidda, come here, and it comes here.
Maybe because it's now associating that name with itself, and you're gonna confuse it when you call it anything else.
Well, I call it so many names, it comes all over.
Maybe because it's your tone of voice, which animals respond because they don't understand words; they understand
That's
tones.
still part of training. It don't matter. I don't know. He acts like he understands me. I'd be like, don't leave this room.
So do
and
I.
he won't leave this room.
So do I, Nick. That doesn't mean I do. I just nod my head and hope for the best. And you do the same to me. How we actually ever have a conversation is a miracle.
It's like our southern neighbors when they come in and they can't quite speak our native tongue, so they just smile.
So they just smile. Yeah, I guess so. But our northern neighbors also do that. I think they're just scared to be around their middle neighbors.
Yeah, we got a couple, a rainbow couple from our northern neighbors that come in every once in a while. And like, hey, Buddha, come in, can I get your oxygen sensor yet? Yeah?
Okay, well, besides that being the worst
Canadian accent.
I have ever heard.
I didn't know where I was going with
Yeah,
that.
I don't know where you were going with it either. Anyway, time for our extreme stories. Not our big extreme stories. We're just going in for the stories that had the most impact. You can go.
We gonna do the one where I say the guy, or
No,
is that later? Okay,
that's gonna be towards the end.
that's
We
later.
still got a good 10, 20 minutes left.
Trying to think of a big one. Um, I know there's a guy that comes in all the time, but it's not really a big thing. It's just a real perturbance to us. He comes in at like 5 minutes before we're closed, and he'll stay there. And then, heaven forbid you say one word to him, he'll tell you his whole life story. That man is just deprived of human
Is this the
interaction.
motorcycle dude?
No. This is the
No.
guy with like the we'll call him Coke bottle lenses, because that's what his glasses comes in. God talks like this. And I got one type tractor like this. And
Oh, is he like the really tall guy?
he's not tall. He's real wiry, wispy with white hair.
Does he work at the store nearby?
I don't know.
No. We're not talking about the same guy, because there's a guy like that just does not stop. But anyway.
You know him if you would see him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would. Anyway, I'm trying to think of. Let's think. I think we might have to tell our ultimate extreme stories.
I don't know. I got a big one. So this involved Papa Balls.
Pop boss. Okay.
This was during the beginning of. I also got a couple others that just came to mind because I said Papa Balls. But this is in the beginning of the pandemic. So in the pandemic, I don't know if y'all went to our particular establishment or its other sister affiliates. Um, we were making customers wear masks or have to wear masks.
I was here during the end of that.
Yeah. Well, we made this guy or whatever. We were like, hey, you gotta wear a mask, man, otherwise you can't come in here. And he's like, no, I don't need to wear no mask. He's like, no, you need to wear a mask or whatever. He's like, I don't have to wear no mask in America. I don't have to wear no mask. I'm like, he's like, it's public property. And we're like, no, sir, this is a private property owned by the company. When you step upon this into the store, which is true, whenever you step into our affiliate store, you are stepping into private property and you are subjected underneath their ordinances and corporate policies.
Which is where you get no shirt, no shoes, no service. It's not a law, but it is a store policy which they can enforce however they please.
Correct. Anyway, so we had to kick these guys out, and they were like, "I want to speak to the store manager." We're like, "Okay," and so old Papa Boss, he comes in, he's like, "All right, sir, what can I help you?" And this guy starts going off. He starts dropping the F word. He starts dropping the GD, and Papa Boss, he don't like that. He don't handle with that.
That's the reason he doesn't listen to our first podcast, because
Yeah.
that's what G teaches.
Yeah, he does not like the Lord's name being taken in vain, which is understandable. But yeah, so he sends him out, and then he's like, all right, I'll step out there. But Papa Watts had to, like, scan some stuff in, so he's doing some stuff before. These guys, literally, looking through the window, walking, pacing, back and forth, eyeing Papa Boss like he's a juicy lamb chop.
He's juicy.
Like,
you didn't have to use the adjective juicy, but...
Like they were hungry, like they were ready to like lay some beat down on Papa Boss. But the thing is, though, is Papa Boss, he's a
martial artist.
He's a martial artist. Like when he was little, he was a black belt in Shotokan, which now he's gotten back into Shotokan, and I think he's a green belt now, or something higher than a green belt. Anyway, and these rednecks, they would not be able to take him on. Like he will like strike him in the throat, and they'd be like, and then. Yeah, so Papa Boss, he don't perceive them as dangerous enough. But the thing is, though, there's three of them and only one of him. And he goes out there and he's like having a good old time talking to them, and you can tell that they're getting fuming and fuming. But somehow or another, he ends up defusing the situation. They end up going and leaving. But whatever they came for that day, they did not get.
I remember. This is again with Papa Boss. A guy comes in, and he's trying to dump oil, because we dump oil for free, which
The only stipulation is you have to put in your phone number and how many quarts you're depositing that day.
yeah. However, this is when we were enforcing masks.
Oh man.
So this guy's coming in with this huge thing of oil. Craig stops and is like, "Sir, you need a mask," and he's like, "I don't want to wear a mask." well, sir, you have to wear a mask. You cannot be in here without a mask. He's like, well, I gotta dump all this oil. What if I dump it all over your store? He's like,
Well, you're gonna have to clean it up.
yeah. No, he goes, well, you can go ahead and do that, sir. Well, but I'm gonna have to call the police. And he's like, and he starts yelling. And he's like, I don't need to wear a GT mask.
That's where he messed up.
And then he's like, I'm gonna dump it in the street. And he's like, and then Papa Boss goes, I'd be happy to get your tag number while you do it, sir. Because that's a federal crime.
That
is a federal crime to dump oil in the street. Because it ruins
the environment.
It ruins a ton of things. Anyway, but that's the mask. The mask thing was the funniest because another story. This is just interaction between me and a lady. The lady comes in and said, "Ma'am, you need to wear a mask in order to be in the store." And she goes, "All right, I'm just going to stand in the doorway." And I was like, "Well, ma'am, you need to wear a mask." She's like, "I know." And she rolls her eyes and she ignores me. She eventually starts getting on her phone, and she looks to me and goes, "Can I get your name?" And I'm like, "Sure." And she goes, "I'm going to report you to the corporate office." And in my head, I'm like, "Please? I might get a promotion."
Yeah, I'm doing what I'm told.
But just, like, the mask thing was the funniest thing, because I just love seeing grown adults have temper tantrums.
They turned into children. It just shows you that...
The emotional maturity of people.
It shows you that kids weren't whipped when they were little.
Seriously?
You spare the rod, you spoil the child. That's how I was raised, and I turned out pretty fine.
Alright. Do you want to tell your story, or do you want me to tell you my big story?
Oh, I'm going to tell a funny story real quick.
A funny story?
Alright, so I was closing with Papa Boss, right?
Papa Boss.
So a couple of our commercial guys come in, and this ain't the first time that they've done this, but it came in. The guy comes in, he's like, "Hey man, there's a light I don't recognize it on my dash. What's it mean, man? You gotta come out here and take a look." So I go out there and I take a look. Right, this man's talking about his seatbelt sign, like, please put your seatbelt on. So he's sitting in the vehicle, right, and his buddy's sitting next to him. They apparently have had, like, partaken of the dankest of kush that they ever had.
The dankest of all the kush.
Because they were so high, you could say it made their brain hurt. The guy in the passenger seat, I guess he had macaroni or something. It was something in a box with a bunch of confetti, but he was shaking it. He was like, oh, 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 oh. And I
started folk singing with a box of macaroni
and
confetti.
Like, yep. And I look and I was like, yeah, that's just hey man, I think that's your seatbelt sign, man. I don't know. Let me see something. I take the seatbelt. I'm like, you mind buckling it up real quick? And he buckles up. The light goes away. This man, the eyes light up. He's like, oh man, I knew I could trust you guys. I knew I could go to you guys and y'all get me all fixed up. I never had anything wrong with you guys. This man, he pulls out his wallet, he drops it, picks it up, thumbs around, and he gives me a 20. He's like, hey man, for your troubles. No joke, 2 weeks later, the same dude comes back, right? He's like, man, my dash is all dark. Again, he's high. He smells of
the dankest of kush.
The dankest of kush. And he's like, hey man, can you hop in there and see what you can do? This is before the pandemic, so we can actually get inside people's vehicles at that time. But I get in there, and all it is he's done turned the brightness down on his clock and everything. So I go into his settings. I turn the brightness up. I also noticed that his time is off. His time's been set to oceanic. I don't know how he got his time set to oceanic.
How do you mess up a vehicle? I guess when you're high, the sky's the limit.
I guess that's why it's called being high.
Yeah.
So, I set it back to what is Eastern Standard or whatever it is that we are. And so, yeah, I get it all set, and he looks, he's like, oh man, thank you, I can actually see, oh, the time's right too, oh, thank you, man.
Oh my gosh.
I think he was like about to hug me too, because he's so happy. But
Okay.
he ends up fumbling in his wallet again, and he gives me a 20 and a 5, and he's like, "Here, man, for your troubles."
I'm gonna call this guy for your troubles.
For your troubles. But yeah,
20 for your thoughts.
there are commercial guys though. They come in every once in a while. I don't think he recognized me or remembers me, but it's funny because I see him come in all the time though, and I'm just thinking like, man, I'm just waiting for you to come back. Let me fix it.
I need to get you back in touch with your Kush dealer. Anyway.
Now on to the big stories.
Yes, to the big stories. The big stories. The big boys. The
Big
chonkers.
chunky meaty
The
boys,
chunguses of our,
swole boys.
the chunguses of our precipice of working at this establishment.
Enrapturing thickness.
You go first.
Okay, so which one are we gonna do? We're gonna do the time where I saved a guy.
Yeah, we'll do that one.
All right, so
Because this is well, actually, you saved a guy twice.
I didn't I?
Yeah, you saved two people, which I think is incredible because it's hilarious. The first one, not so much, because I know the one you're talking about when he, you had to.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that, dude.
That one, and then the other, and then the
The other
one
one.
where we were there.
So are we gonna talk about fish out of water kid, or are we gonna talk about leaky pipes?
I like to call leaky pipes. Why the hell didn't you go to a hospital?
Yeah, why didn't he? He was on his way. All right,
So again, we have to iterate. We worked at an auto parts store, so we sell auto parts. We're not paramedics.
all right, so
and you usually don't. We usually have to say we're not mechanics because we're not mechanics.
yeah, we're not required to be mechanics, though we do pick up mechanical knowledge as we work there.
But we're sure as hell not paramedics.
The last I checked, I'm not certified in the medical arts.
No, neither am I.
But I get a call, and this guy is clearly distraught. He also is clearly in pain or shock on the phone. But he calls, he's like, "Man, I just got out of the shower and
So like he called. I picked up the phone. He asked for a manager, and I'm like, because he does sound distraught, but I'm also like, oh god, here we go.
That's right. Because that time you were a red.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I hand you the phone because I did not want to go with this. I was just gonna give him to a manager and get it done. So I hand him to you.
Yeah, he hands it to me. I pick it up, and he's like, "Man, I got a bag attached to my liver that pumps blood, that holds blood and goes back into my liver." And I'm like, "Okay, man." He's like, "I was shaving and I cut the hose, man, so I'm bleeding out." But anyway, you got an air junction like that would go into like an 18 wheeler that goes like that, like an air junction hose. I'm gonna be stopping by. I might be a little bit late. I'm just 5 minutes out. I'm like, yeah, I can keep the door. I can keep this door open a little bit later than closed. And so he's like, "Oh, okay, man, okay." So we're closing like normal. We get done mopping, and I see this truck wheel in, slams on the brakes, and this guy like nearly falls out of his truck. His wife or girlfriend or whatever is driving. He was in the passenger seat. He comes out, and he's dripping blood everywhere. He lifts up his shirt. He's like, "Hey, man, this is the bag that I'm bleeding out." He's literally bleeding out, and he has like this little pouch that's like taped to his skin with like this little tube coming in and out of his stomach. Apparently he got thrown out of his vehicle and like landed on a tree and was impaled or something. Pretty gnarly, but not the worst thing that I've seen before.
So,
But
the question that's on both of our minds at the time is, why the hell is he coming to an auto parts store
to fix his truck, right?
Seriously.
So
no, not to fix his.
well, yeah,
we
thought,
think it's for his truck.
we think it's for his truck.
And then we come in and he's like, "No, I need this for my hose to my liver."
Yep.
And it's like, what?
And so,
What?
yeah, it's just wild. So we go over there. We had the little vacuum connection tubes. I take one out. I fix the two together. He's like, "This ain't gonna poison me, is it?" I'm like, "No, sir." Fun fact. The same plastic that these vacuum connectors are the same type of plastic that's your fork utensils are made out of, plastic forks are made out of. So if it's safe to eat, it's safe for your blood. But anyway, we hook this thing up together, get him all patched up, and he gets into his truck. He's like, "Thank you, man. Thank you." He gets back in his truck and hopefully he went to a hospital.
Yeah, I hope he went to a hospital because that's like, what the heck?
But yeah, and what's funny is we were supposed to meet up at like at a Japanese place, right? And we were late.
We were late because we were saving a life.
And then our boy, son of the Lar, he was like, "Where are y'all at?" And we are like, "We saved the dude.
We legit saved it." But yeah, that was wild.
That was wild.
I wasn't there for the other time you saved a person.
All right, so the other time, I don't know why I saved so many people.
Why, Nick? Why are you such a savior? Why are you a superhero?
I don't know.
Why are you stupid? Why are you saving so many people with the way you act?
I don't know. I guess that's just the way I am.
I save people, but I'm also an idiot.
Yeah.
Yay!
Alright, so
Yeah.
this other time, this kid walks in, I'm opening with our boy, we'll call him Lil John. You know Lil John? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Lil John. So Lil John, we're opening everything, and this boy comes in, right? And he's this young little lad. He's barely about 16, maybe 17. Just got his license, supposedly. He comes in, he's like, "I need some brake pads and some brake fluid and everything to do like a brake chain." So it's like, "All right, man, we'll get you all fixed up." So we get him all fixed up with his pads and stuff, and we're waiting for him to come back up to the counter because he was looking around, looking at like the smell-ums, and he had some brake fluid because he wanted the Prestone brake fluid. This boy comes in and I see him do a shutter. I look in, I'm like, "Little John, he's about to drop." And Little John's like, "No, man." And so we didn't know if he was like pulling a prank because at that time there was kids on the internet doing like the pranks where they take like the milk jugs and throw it on the ground or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not retarded. I mean, I'm not mentally whatever.
No, you are. You're just not in that trend.
Yeah.
You're just not that level of...
I'm not Tide Pod level.
You're not Tide Pod? Well, if you were, you wouldn't be here today.
Exactly. But anyway.
That was the dumbest trend. How do you get the thought in your head, "Hey, I'm going to take this thing of chemicals, pop it in my mouth, and see what happens"?
I did it for the views, man. The lows.
Like the furthest I've ever done anything with a Tide Pod was just watch it explode. Because I thought that was kind of fun to pop. But I would never put it in my mouth and go, "This is going to be delicious."
So that's rich people's problem, man. I didn't have Tide Pods. We just had the powder.
So Tide Pods are cheaper.
Really?
Overall, they're going to be so much cheaper because you have to measure how much you have to do. The Tide Pod is pre-measured. It gets everything, no matter the size. Tide Pods will save you so much money.
Right, I just get the powder or the liquid, pour it in a little ball, and chunk it, and then I'm good.
A little ball?
Yeah, you don't got the little ball, like a little plunger that you fill it up.
You just gave the same indication of a plunger that you would a grenade.
Because that's what it's shaped like. It's shaped like a grenade.
You throw a grenade filled with chemicals into your machine that is forced to clean your clothes. Yeah. I want you to think about that. Your in-house worker who cleans your clothes, you threw into the mouth of a grenade filled with chemicals.
I don't have servants.
A washing machine does the work with no questions asked.
It's not
you sure as hell don't have any servants, but it's sure as hell a slave.
But it's not sentient, so is it a slave? Do we call a horse a slave? Do we call cattle slaves?
Yes. In fact, we probably treat slaves better than some cattle.
Okay, just because we live in the South doesn't mean we should be saying these things on live air.
No, I'm just saying there are circumstances in which people were treated much better than cattle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen veal?
Yeah. Oh.
That's tortured baby cow.
So cool.
Yeah, it's delicious, but it's still tortured baby cow.
I mean, meat's meat. I mean, I eat anything that walks, talks, squawks, and flies, man. As long as it's cooked.
Well, hold on. Hawks? Hold on. Nick, are you a cannibal? We're gonna hear it first, folks. Nick, are you a cannibal?
In certain situations.
In certain ethical situations.
Like say I'm trapped in Donner Pass.
Oh my gosh. That's horrible.
I used to be Mormon, that's the reason why I say that.
Well,
I'm a Jorman. You Mormon.
Jew Mormon. I'm a Jorman. Wouldn't that just make you a Viking?
Yeah, I guess.
Jorman?
I'm
a Jorman. Oh, because you believe in like Jormungandr and like the No, I'm just a Jew and a Mormon.
Jew Mormon. Anyway, we were talking about this kid, right? So this kid does a little shutter, and then I'm like, oh, he's actually going down. And so the little shutter that I'm talking about, I don't know if y'all have ever witnessed a seizure happen right then and there, but I've seen a couple seizures. And so this kid, he's about to hit the ground, so I rush under him, and I catch his head from popping onto the ground, and then I just turn his head to the side, and I make sure that like all the spittle and everything's not going back into his lungs like you're supposed to. I just cradle him, and I just let him seize out, and I kind of rock with him, just so that he don't damage anything. So he's seizing out, he's shaking like a fish out of water. And well, anyway, this kid, he's just out of it. You know, I mean, we got like brake fluid going across the floor because of course he dropped the brake fluid, and so it popped the top. And Little John has to call the paramedics, and so I sit there and these paramedics took forever. Like it took them like 30 minutes, 35 minutes to get.
That's still better on average than most places in the world. Like in Europe, it's like an hour wait time.
Goodness, well,
on average,
it's better than the cops. The cops take like 2 hours.
In Europe or here in the United States?
Well, here.
Oh, I guess I'm in an affluent neighborhood, so they're gonna be out here faster.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so we're there, and the paramedics come in, and they looked like, oh, well, I see he was in good hands. And it was like, well, I mean, I was a scout. I mean, we were taught to do this. And they're like, so
you say that like because I was also a scout, and I didn't learn jack when I was in scouts.
Really, I guess that was Mormon scouts for you.
Mormon scout.
Troop 235. That's where I was from. Anyway, so yeah, they asked me like, so do you know this kid? I was like, no, I'd never seen this kid in the day of my life until now. And then they're like, so do you know if he took anything? And I was like, no, sir, I don't know if he does any drugs or anything like that.
We didn't say he did drugs. He probably did drugs. No,
it just turns out that he has a history of seizures. But when he was talking to the paramedics and the cop that showed up, he didn't tell him that he had a history of seizures. But yeah, that was interesting. And his folks and his kin came in. They were like thanking me and Little John, and they apparently they were commercial as well. Their folks were commercial, and so they ended up getting like the brake pads and stuff that the kid needed. But that was interesting because they're like, man, I just want to really thank you from the bottom of my heart what you did for. I'm like, no skin off my back, man. I mean, it's just me.
I don't see how you did not get an extra miler for that at all.
Oh, that's right. I didn't get an extra miler.
Like an extra miler is like is essentially a reward given for like going the extra mile, doing more stuff, and it comes with like a $100 bonus and stuff like that. But it's going above and beyond, and you 100% deserve an extra miler for that.
I mean, I'm just doing whatever I expect somebody else to do.
I got an extra mile.
Oh yeah, this man literally just changed the key fob, and then the guy was so stoked, and it was like, man, thank you. And then he like,
and like, so I was like about to interview for my to become a manager. And the night before my interview, because I was told my interview would be anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months. Well, it was the next day. Well, that night I helped a guy. A guy was over at Kroger parking lot. He got his key fob battery stopped working. He comes in. And like Kroger isn't that far from this establishment. It's like maybe not even a 5 minute walk, more like a 3 minute walk. It's not very far at all. He comes in. I just help him change out his key fob battery. He's so stoked that I changed it out for him that he calls the next day and talks to Big Boss.
Big Boss is there.
Big Boss is there for my interview because I have to interview with him in order to get promotion. Well, who's to pick up the phone but Big Boss?
Exactly.
And like my interview, I was so worried about it, but it went smooth. It went a lot smoother than I think it would have.
Oh yeah.
Had that guy not called. And then I got like $100 bonus for helping that guy out because someone recommended me for it.
Yup. You almost got another extra mile.
Yeah, well, my name got passed around the district because of the other battery. I felt this one wasn't a key fob battery; it was just a regular battery. But a lady tried to tip me, and I kept saying no. I changed her car battery in the rain. Probably shouldn't have done it in the rain, but I did it anyway.
Well, she was a corpo's wife, but
yeah,
we didn't know that.
Yeah, I did not know that at the time. So anyway, going on to my extreme story. I just walked in. It was in the afternoon. I was starting my shift, and there's a line of people and everything. This one lady who's not really dressed like a lady. It was very hard to tell. The only way you can tell she was a lady was because of her voice.
So she was a dyke.
Well, no, I think she just didn't want to get dressed up that day. I mean,
it was a manly woman.
Well, yeah, well,
or a womanly
also
man. Oh, is it that one?
Mm-hmm. So
that's not a woman.
No, this is at the store I'm at currently.
Oh,
this is not at the store I used to work.
6067 or whatever.
It's something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, no, that's why I didn't say the actual number.
Anyway, lady's in line. She's like getting a steering wheel cover. Anyway, one of our commercial customers, he was in there earlier, and he had left his phone. Well, he comes in to get his phone, and then he talks to another one of the managers. Not about anything serious. He's just talking about, oh, I forgot my phone and stuff like that. Well, he, instead of walking behind the lady, barges in front of her to get to the door to leave.
Oh, no.
He like, shoves right in front of this lady. Oh, no. And this is like a big guy. This lady is very small. She's like 5'4", like maybe 180 pounds. Maybe. And this guy, I'm a big person myself. I'm 6'1"
he just barreled over
and 270 pounds. This guy is a good half foot taller than I am and a good 100 more pounds than I am.
Yeah.
He's huge. Well, the lady turns to the guy and says, "You can't push me like that." And the guy turns around. He's like blood red angry, like on a dime.
Why?
I have no idea, but he's like in his full corporate and his full commercial uniform. So he's like wearing his work shirt, his work pants. He's like all set up, and you can tell where he's working. He's got his name tag. He's got his name on his shirt for everyone to see as well. And they go back and forth saying, "You can't push me," and he goes, "I'll do whatever the hell I want." He then goes up to this lady. He decks her, punches her square in the face, and drops her to the ground. You hear a smack and then just a thud as she hits the ground. And he starts to leave. She gets up, and I shit you not, goes to her vehicle. She grabs a gun. She straight up grabs a gun. This guy is at the road. He hasn't turned off to the road. This idiot, instead of pulling out, he opens his car door, turns around, and says, "The hell are you gonna do with it?" He's antagonizing the person with the gun. It blew my mind.
Boy had a death wish.
Yeah, he 100% wanted to die right there. And like we called the cop. She didn't kill him. Thank whatever's out there.
You can thank God.
You know what? Fuck you. Thank the flying giant spaghetti monster. Fuck you.
I mean, you can thank God. I mean, they might. Well, I don't think that would be a form that you would take, but it is what it is.
Anyway, but she's the one who ends up calling the cops. I mean, because she was assaulted. But like, we had to make statements and everything.
And a battery.
Well, yeah, assault and battery. Anyway, that was just like the craziest thing I saw, and like I wasn't about to go break this up. I thought about it, but at the same time, this guy would have punched me in the face. This guy, well, I mean, I guess I could have gone and taken the hit. At the same time, I don't get paid enough to take that hit.
No. What you do is, y'all got a little microwave in the back. You just get you some popcorn and say, equal rights, equal fights.
Equal rights. She looked at me and said, "Did you see that?" And I was like, "I don't know." I tried to get my coworker to call the police as she went to go get the gun. I said, "Okay, you need to call the police. He's just standing there frozen." And I'm like, I get it, you know. Anyway, that was the most insane thing I experienced while there.
Goodness.
No one got hurt. Besides the lady who got punched. But
she's still walking, so I mean, she's good. She was walking.
Yeah.
But to pull a gun, goodness.
That I felt like my heart dropped.
Because, like, she misses, that bullet's not going to stop until it hits something. So where's it going to go?
Oh, it's going to go into the mechanic shop across the street.
Exactly. Hit some innocent bystander.
Or a brick wall, hopefully.
Or a brick wall. And the dude, I don't know what his issue was.
He was one of our commercial customers. So, I mean, like, that was just crazy to me. Anyway, that's all the time for today. That's been our crazy auto parts establishment stories. Thank you for listening, and good night.
See you next Thursday.